If you've ever been to a bar, a lounge, a club, it's very obvious that men have no clue on how to approach women. Especially in today's day and age, men seem to fail to understand the simplicity that comes with interacting with members of the opposite sex. And you'll see guys that will approach and use lines, one liners, or you see this poor guy stuttering away at trying to um, interact with a woman. You might say something like, oh, I just wanted to let you know I thought you were really pretty, as if no one's ever has said that to her before, or I thought you were really hot, or etc. Something along those lines. And if you're someone like me who enjoys going out and frequents, the nightlife, you've seen it very often and it's very prevalent. And so I wanted to create a very short video on how to approach a woman and what to say. So the easiest approach when it comes to approaching women is the shortest approach. And of course, how do you know when to approach a woman? And it's always on the look she has in her eye. And so personally, I don't believe in cold approaching anybody. If you're out at a bar or at a club, a lounge, etc., even, on a day to day, whatever it is you're doing from your day to day basis, I particularly don't believe in cold approaching or approaching a female who hasn't seen you. It's never good to approach a woman from the back or from the side. It automatically has her in a standoff position, and you've changed her emotional state once you've done that. And it makes it very, unless you're like overwhelmingly attractive, but then most guys don't react that way. So the easiest approach is, let's say if you're out at a bar or at a club, wherever you are with your friends, is when you're walking around to pay attention to how females are looking at you. And if you catch someone's eye, the way you see some of these women in this picture, those are the women that you want to approach. If you're attracted to a woman that is sitting amongst a group of her friends, and you notice that she's looking at you kind of like this, then that's the person that you want to approach. Most of the time, cold approaches don't necessarily work unless she just did not see you at all and you're a very attractive person, and then that, of course, diminishes the problems that are revolved around with cold approaches. But the easiest way to approach women and to meet actually the most amount of women is to only approach women who, in essence, have given you the eye. This has always been the case for eternity. As far as men and women have been interacting, men in particular have always dealt with women who had an attraction to them. And the reason that this works better is because, one, it'll save you money. You're not going to go around buying women drinks at bars all the time, trying to negotiate for a phone number, which, again, is something you should not do. But primarily, it makes it easier for you because there is a level of anxiety when it comes to approaching women, and of course, what are you going to say? What is she going to say? So that whole interaction, in essence, disappears, in an instant. Once you know that nature, in essence, has taken its course, then all you have to do is execute, which is to go up to a person, which is what I do with every single person that I meet when I go out. If it's an attractive woman, I will literally just go up to that person and say, "Hi, what's your name?" And from then on, if the person is just like sitting there smiling at me, or if they reply back to me with an interested look on their face, I will take my cell phone out and say, "I just wanted to get your phone number," and I will leave it at that and walk away. And then I'll message them, "This is so and so," and I'll message you another time when I'm free. This works 100% of the time. For those who are worried about, it's very rare that you will get rejected in those scenarios because you're already interacting with a woman who is attracted to you. Now, of course, there are women who just look. I mean, many times I go out and I'll see women they're with guys, like whether it's their boyfriend or they're on a date or whatnot, and they're just looking. It's very obvious, and I've learned to pay attention when I go out, primarily because at this point in my life, I'm 39 years old. I've been in the dating game a very long time. I'm very comfortable going out into the dating scene on my own. Living in the city, um, you just have to, as a man, you have to learn to go out on your own if you want to meet large amounts of women. And it's actually easier to meet women going out on your own than it is going out with your guy friends. Because not everybody thinks this way, and usually among a group, there's like one that's like more talkative than the other, and they're like, go bring some women over to talk with us. But from my experience, and this works no matter what country you're in, I have had the opportunity to travel to many different countries this year. I particularly travel to a lot of Latin American countries, and it works no matter where you are. Um, and so this is my recommendation for a lot of you guys that are out there that are wondering, what is it should I do? What should I say? This is the easiest approach that will maximize your ability to meet the most amount of women that will be interested in you. And that's primarily the most important part, is meeting women who are interested in you and not just randomly cold approaching people and perhaps getting rejected, or avoiding scenes, because nowadays, some women like to create scenes. And so the easiest way to avoid that is to only approach women who have given you, in essence, the eye. And you'll see very quickly when you do that and you approach a woman that quickly and get her phone number, other women take note. I guarantee you this. This has happened numerous times where men are typically like, oh, I've approached this girl, how do I approach another one that's in the same bar or restaurant or club? And in particularly, it's very funny. Like, I've walked out of clubs with 20 plus numbers where other women have seen me, you know and I actually look for that now. It's kind of funny. I will actually be talking to one and noticing another watching me. And as soon as I'm done talking and engaging with that female and I've gotten her phone number, I will walk over to that one and I'll get her phone number as well. And it's because women value men who other women are interested in. Because in essence, that woman will be like, well, there must be something about him that he is able to pique her interest in. And when you've done that, it really diminishes, in essence, that nervous feeling that you might have when it comes to approaching women. And so that is my number one and only tip for every single man out there, is to approach women from that standpoint. It will maximize your ability to meet women who are really interested in you for who you are, for what you look like, and to getting to know you on a more personal basis.